Welcome to TalkNorth.com. Thanks to our longtime producer, Brandon Morton. Please download before you listen. If you'd like to advertise with us, you can reach us at talknorthpodcast@gmail.com. And please follow us on Twitter at TalkNorthPod. Two promo codes to be aware of. Bitesquad.com. Use the promo code TalkNorth to get your first delivery free. And go to SodaStick.com, the great local apparel company. Use the promo code YouBetcha to get free shipping on any sized order. It's football season, but we're also going to talk a little volleyball here on Preps Today with John Millea. John Millea is your Preps guru. You can read his stuff at mshsl.org under John's Journal, but you can hear his stories as he relates so well on this show, which is part of the TalkNorth.com podcast network. Thank you to Pizza Barn in Princeton, for sponsoring the program, along with Bitesquad, which sponsors the entire network. Bitesquad.com, promo code TalkNorth gets your first delivery fee waived. Keep using it after that. But if you're ever in the Princeton area, just go by Pizza Barn in Princeton. GPS now takes you right to their front door. There's no confusion anymore, and they've renovated. It's a cool place. We'll tell you more about their business later. But before we get to football, let us talk about volleyball, John.
Yes, sir, Jim. Thanks. On Friday, I had one of the best times I've had in a long time. I went to a volleyball match that was held during the school day. This is kind of a new concept. There have been a few of these around the state, usually during homecoming week as kind of a homecoming activity. So this was down in Lamberton, Southwest Minnesota, Red Rock Central School in Lamberton. They met Westbrook Walnut Grove, which is not far away, in a 1 p.m. volleyball match. And it was the coolest thing. This is the second year they've done it at Red Rock Central. And so what they do is Red Rock is a K through 12 school, all in the same place. So every student, K through 12, is in the gym. The little kids got a free bag of popcorn. And Westbrook Walnut Grove brought over every kid 7 through 12 who wanted to miss a little school time and go cheer for the volleyball team. So they had a big crowd there. The band from Red Rock was in the gym. It was packed. It was just a great atmosphere. I've got a story in the works about that on John's Journal. And these are two tiny schools, but really a cool deal. The homecoming football game, instead of being Friday night, was Saturday afternoon, which is a cool concept to do that. And so, I arrived maybe 90 minutes or a couple hours before the volleyball match. And the local beef producers provided lunch for everybody in school that day. So I had a nice big burger with all the fixins. I got a tour of the school, met some people I already have known down there for a long time, made some new friends, watched volleyball. It was really, really fun. This is something I did not know about Red Rock Central. I know their teams are the Falcons, and in volleyball, it's just Red Rock Central. It's not a cooperative deal with other schools. They've got plenty of girls who want to play volleyball. Same thing with football. But the Falcons also can be known as Bobcats, Wolverines, Chargers, and Cardinals, because in a lot of sports, they co-op with other teams. So in wrestling, it's Red Rock Central and Wabasso. Wabasso is the Rabbits, as everybody knows. But that wrestling team with those two schools, the nickname is the Bobcats. And in cross country, the kids from Red Rock Central compete with the kids from Mountain Lake. They're the Wolverines. In track and field, Red Rock Central and Westbrook Walnut Grove, they have a co-op. They're the Chargers. And I even got some gymnasts from Red Rock who go up north to Redwood Valley to be on the gymnastics team, and they're the Cardinals. So you got 5 different nicknames for kids from Red Rock Central, which I that was worth a trip right there to learn that. I didn't know that. There's a lot of these co-op agreements all over the state. Pretty unique stuff. I don't know if anybody has a deal where kids from one school could have 5 different nicknames. because of all these co-op agreements. But in these small school districts, that's what it takes, to keep these teams going and these programs alive. So pretty creative stuff down there. But it was a great time down in Lamberton. This is my second trip to Lamberton. I think the first one was 5 years ago, also on Friday of homecoming week. So really a cool little town. And thanks to everybody down there for treating me much better than I deserved.
By the way, I'm sure you've calculated it. How many miles did you drive last school year?
It's about 30,000 miles a year. That's the rough estimate, because with these Camrys that Toyota so nicely provides for free, by the time I turn them in, when the next one is ready, they're at about all of them have been at more than 90,000 miles over 3 years. So it's pretty good. It's a pretty good mileage rate. I try not to abuse these cars, but I sure put some miles on them.
Well, yeah, I'm sure you do. And of course, I guess what really highlights that figure is that sometimes you just get to drive down the street to do the story. So it's not like every time you get in. So, to put up 30,000 miles when some of the things you do are actually in the metro highlights just how far some of your trips are.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've got, there's always long ones scattered in, and that trip to Lamberton, that was close to 3 hours from my house each way. And it's well worth it, though. I can, especially on a beautiful fall day, watching the farm fields turn from green to gold, and the geese flying overhead and going through neat little towns. It's definitely worth those long drives.
This is the best time of the year for drive. I find myself doing that. These days I just drive around. I'm like, oh my God, it's gorgeous out here. It actually makes me want to put on some more music and keep driving.
You bet. Nothing wrong with that.
All right, where do you want to go next, John?
I got another really cool volleyball story. Another interesting thing. People who follow volleyball, especially the Gophers, know Samantha Seliger Swenson. She was an All-American for 4 years, the Big Ten Player of the Year. She's now playing in France, kicking off a professional career. She left just maybe 3 weeks ago for France. So, and I learned through investigative journalism and Woodward and Bernstein type tactics that she has twin sisters who are 8th graders playing at Hopkins for their mom. Samantha played for her mom, Vicky, at Hopkins. And now her twin sisters, Olivia and Stella, are 8th graders, and they're a huge part of the varsity volleyball team. That's how good the volleyball genes are in the Swenson family. So I'd seen them play, I think, their first match of the year. And I was chatting with Vicky, the coach, afterwards. And I've known Vicky a long time. And I said, hey, would it be okay if at some point I wrote about the twins? Because it's pretty unique, especially at a big school. That might not be as rare at a smaller school, but at a big school and a good volleyball program, to have 8th graders, 2 of them, start. And the fact that they're the daughters of the coach, there are all kinds of great questions there about the pressures of being the coach's kid and the pressure on the coach of having your kids play for you. And what's interesting was, though, when I met the girls, Olivia and Stella, at practice one day last week, they were very nice. They, very polite, introduced themselves, shook my hand, and I said, girls, I wrote about you before you were born. And they kind of smiled. They knew what I was talking about. So when Vicky was pregnant with these twins, I wrote a story about her. At the time, her husband, Eric, the girl's dad, was the head football coach at Blake. So you had the middle of the fall season. Both mom and dad are in the middle of their coaching seasons. Vicky's, 8 3/4 months pregnant. And it was really a fun story. I went back and found it. So it was 14 years ago. And Vicky said, I don't know if the girls have read the story, but I'm going to find it so they can. It's just kind of about let's get this over with. These babies are due any day now. And Samantha was 8 years old and I remember her as this little 8-year-old running around, kind of the team mascot. It's no surprise she became a great volleyball player with her mom as the coach. But really a neat story about these two. They are really talented. And Vicky made that point. She said, they deserve to be here. And I've seen them play. They are very good. They're tall. They're not identical twins. Olivia's a little taller than Swell. Olivia hits at the net. Stella's a setter, just like her big sister, Sam. And that story's up there. And it's interesting. I tried to get a hold of Sam. She's in France, and Vicky helped me try to get a hold of her, and I couldn't connect with her till after the story was done. And but really got a nice email from her saying how much she enjoyed the story, and she can't believe her baby sisters are playing high school volleyball. They're not high school students. They go to a junior high that's just next door to Hopkins High, so they walk over to the high school for practice. But and people might remember there's some real tragedy with this story in the past here. Vicki had a sister, Terry Lee, who was murdered in 2006. And her husband had been killed in a car accident 5 years earlier. So, and when Terry was killed, she left 4 kids, and Vicki and Eric adopted those 4 kids. So they had a household of 10 people for a number of years. Terry's kids are all grown up now and out on their own. And Sam is their oldest, and she's left home now. She's in France, like I said. So they're down to mom and dad, the twins, and then one more daughter, Eva, who's 11. So really a neat family, wonderful bunch of people. I'm happy to know Vicki as well as I do, and so we'll be hearing about Olivia and Stella Swenson from Hopkins Volleyball for years now, and Vicki's already counting down the days, sadly, till they go off to college. She said the empty nest is creeping closer all the time, and we've been through that. We know what that's like. But really, kind of a neat story about a family that people who love volleyball and follow volleyball know a lot about.
Cool stuff. We promised football. We will get to football. We'll also talk about the Iron Range, some recruiting, bands of the week, and the week ahead. I do want to thank, though, Pizza Barn in Princeton. Pretty easy to find their website, pizzabarnprinceton.com. And at their website, you'll see some cool old school photos of Jody State's father, who originated and ran the place. You've heard Jody on this show before. They treat their high school people, their prep people all over that area really well. They treat officials really well, which we appreciate. And if you go to their website, you can find out what their pizza of the month is, what beers they have, their entire menu, the dine-in specials, their takeout and delivery specials, and you can even order online.
Yeah, and it's not just pizza, Jim. Like you said, they got a full menu. They got almost everything you'd want, and they do take pizzas to officials or work games in Princeton. I did see that St. Cloud Cathedral played football at Princeton Friday night, and Jody let it be known on social media the Pizza Barn was going to stay late after the game for anybody who wanted pizza. And I think the Princeton players were going to come in to receive their free meal because they beat Malacca in the first annual Pizza Bowl, which we were up there to do the show that day, and I stuck around for the game. And the pizza paddle was going to be there after the game, so that's pretty good commitment to your town. Stay open late on a Friday night so everybody can come in and have a meal and have a little celebration. And we are now officially in fall. It's the first day of fall here, first full day, and it's pretty interesting that the pizza of the month is for September at the Pizza Barn. You're running out of days if you want to get this great pizza. I might make a trip just for this. It's called the Northern Comfort, and Jody is so great at creating new pizzas. So the Northern Comfort is made with white cheddar mac and cheese, topped with mozzarella and pecanwood smoked bacon. That is a nice, I'm going to use a big word, nice autumnal sounding pizza.
You should be a writer.
I should be a writer. I don't know if I can spell autumnal, but that's a good sounding pizza for the fall.
Good stuff. And a reminder, if you're in the Princeton area, you want to stop by, but also if you just happen to be going, in that area, North Metro, and you're on 169 going north or south, it's just a very easy detour over to Pizza Barn, and you will not be sorry. Let's go to our next story, which is football night in Jordan.
Yeah, since I watched volleyball in Lamberton Friday, and I left there, 3:30. Well, I couldn't just come home and do nothing, so I went to Jordan to watch a football game Friday night, 7 o'clock kickoff, Waseca at Jordan. Really good matchup. Jordan was undefeated. Waseca had 1 loss. And we are halfway through the football season now. That was week 4. And it's interesting because Waseca had moved down from 4A to 3A this year, and they're one of the biggest schools in 3A. Jordan's one of the smallest in 4A. And you'd think that should be a decent matchup, and it really was. It was just back and forth, high scoring, not the most perfectly played game, big plays on both sides. But Waseca did what they needed to do. They turned 2 block punts and an interception into the touchdowns, and they won. The final was 42-39, and that fourth quarter was back and forth, big plays up and down the field. Jordan's issue was with extra points. Their kicking game was a little off kilter. They tried some 2-pointers, just couldn't. If they'd have managed just a handful of those, they would have won this game. But really good atmosphere down in Georgia.